Inquiry-based distance learning methodology, prepared by Giuseppe Italiano, a professor of computer science at Lewis University in Rome, Italy. In today's data-driven economy, many employees need reskilling and upskilling to respond to changing work requirements. Young people need the skills to rapidly learn, adapt, practice resiliency, and take advantage of curious mindsets to respond to this reality and address still unsolved global problems. This changing environment calls for a transformation in how we think about learning. To participate and thrive in a rapidly evolving world, students must become power learners. This entails developing a set of multifaceted skills which enable them to properly cope with complexity and embrace dynamicity, thus finally becoming real change makers. Also, the emergence of distance teaching and learning, also due to the recent COVID-19 pandemic, calls for a transformation in how we think about learning. To participate and thrive in a distance learning framework, it is widely believed that students must be right at the center of the learning process and become power learners. Instructors, educators, curriculum designers, and all members of university communities are called upon to revise both the way in which learning happens and the educational experience in general. We first analyze very briefly some of the challenges that could justify why distance learning is perceived as more demanding, both for students and for instructors. So, no physical interaction. In traditional face-to-face learning, educators tend to be both role models and knowledge givers for students. In distance learning, the physical interaction between teachers and students is missing. In this framework, students and instructors lose physical and personal interaction among each other. As a consequence, the mental build-up and overall learning process of the students may get hampered. Most of the students find it easier to learn when their educators are physically present in the classroom. On the other side, the lack of direct physical interaction may have a negative impact on how instructors play their role of knowledge givers. Less motivated and less engaged. In distance learning, students are not expected to attend a classroom in person. Because of this, they may feel isolated and less engaged in their learning process. Moreover, students get less possibilities of interaction with themselves. They do not obtain a close interaction with instructors either, and as a result, in distance learning, educators are not always able to motivate students as it can be done in traditional classrooms. In face-to-face learning, students get the opportunity to thrive in an environment which gives them a challenge to perform in a peer group. In distance learning, all these motivational factors are not present, which can be quite problematic for many of them. Less oral communication and social interactions. Most of the distance learning courses do not enable or facilitate oral communication and social interactions, which are an important part of a learning process. This is especially true for courses developed with the asynchronous method of learning, which do not allow such interactions. To overcome those drawbacks, instructors need to empower more the students in their educational journey, which will put them right at the center of their learning process. At the same time, it is crucial to promote the students' ability to think deeply and critically about the subject material they are learning. We believe all of this can be done successfully within an inquiry-based distance learning process. This process aims at developing more research-based knowledge in order to stimulate more a curiosity-driven approach for the students. This has the potential to equip students with more powerful knowledge while producing for them more engaging learning experiences. A learning curriculum should aim for powerful knowledge, which can be defined as a specialized knowledge that serves a particular purpose. To have a knowledge which is powerful, means to be able to apply it in new contexts, engaging in matters of public importance and having access to the conversations and debates about society's values, social, cultural, political, economic, or technological. Powerful knowledge is powerful because it provides human beings with a sound understanding of the natural and social worlds, thereby enabling them to evaluate existing knowledge beyond individual experiences and specific context, and to produce new knowledge. Equipping students with powerful knowledge can be achieved through an authentic research-based learning curriculum. In fact, for students to address what is not known and serve a specific societal purpose, they need to learn the generative principles of disciplinary knowledge. It helps the learner to understand how one might come to know something. For this access to occur, students need to learn about and through research methods by experiencing inquiry-based learning. Inquiry-based learning is a research-based mode of student learning in which educational activities reflect the active, critical, and analytic inquiry undertaken by researchers. Inquiry-based learning promotes the acquisition of new knowledges, abilities, and attitudes through the investigation of questions, problems, and issues using the ways and standards of inquiry. Accordingly, within this teaching approach, learning occurs through student-driven and instructor-guided investigations, which address unsolved real-world problems. As such, inquiry-based learning is founded upon a student-centered and self-directed approach, which stresses the responsibility of students in the learning process rather than that of teachers. Typical activities associated with inquiry-based learning may include undertaking investigations, formulating critical research questions and arguments, generating new knowledge through data gathering and analysis, disseminating findings, presenting to different audiences, refining new understandings through feedback, reviewing peers' work, and becoming publicly engaged. To sum up, here is a very brief roadmap of inquiry-based learning. The student is given problems that require additional research to be solved successfully. In such learning process, the student additionally takes an active role and responsibility in the learning process. According to the EBL methodology, the student initially connects in detail or deeply with the teaching unit and the problems he must solve during the learning. Then, he asks research questions and identifies various sources of knowledge on which he can find answers. Apart from classical sources of knowledge such as textbooks, the student is encouraged to use sources that include locating high-quality information on the web, searching the books and electronic journal databases. The next step is to evaluate the collected information and its synthesis into a coherent whole. The final part of the research process is communicating what has been learned and how it is learned. For further learning, please review the following references. Thank you for your attention.